with this new flock of chickens and all my equipment being about 10 years old, I decided it was time to redo my poultry waterers and my poultry feeders. We'll get to feeders later, but for the moment, I decided to make my own suction-controlled automatic poultry waterers out of buckets. So I thought I'd show you what I did and how I did it. Let's go take a look. So we're going to start with some 5/8 grommets with a 3/8 inch center hole. You'll see paracord, micro paracord, about 10 inches and knotted at the end there. A 1/2 inch drill bit. And we're going to use, I purchased buckets and matching lids. And I put seals. I bought the seal O-rings to put in the lids. So we're going to drill the hole in the bucket. I've already pre-marked where I'm going to make the hole. I don't know, let me see if you can see this. I just put a little permanent marker, black mark. Go lay down. We're using a 1/2 inch drill bit. So a quick note on the location of the hole. I put the hole on my buckets 2 inches up. The pans I'm using are 4 inches and a little bit tall. So that puts the water at about halfway up the pan. So it all depends on what pan or receptacle you're going to use for water. You want to give a little cushion at the top, for the water to raise. If you went all the way to the top of the rim of whatever your receptacle is, it could be a problem. So you want to give yourself a little cushion room, but you want it a little bit off the bottom as well. So 2 inches is good. 2 inches is, unless you've got a super tall pan or something, the birds have to be able to reach the water. Just know that the level of the water is going to be wherever you put your hole. So it might go over by a little bit, not very much. That where that hole is where the top of the water is going to be. Okay? Okay. So now you're going to see me use a 3/8 inch clevis pin with the micro paracord run through the hole at the bottom, knotted right after the clevis pin, and then knotted at the very end. We're also going to be using 3/8 inch washers. So now we're going to put little washers, all right, if you can see them, little washers on the end of the string so that the plug, the clevis pin, it can't go into the bucket because its head is too big. It cannot be lost, dropping away from the bucket, separated from the bucket because of these. These will not go through the hole. So in that way, you can have the pin hanging out for the normal purposes of watering. And then when you need to fill the bucket, it's right there. It hasn't gone anywhere. You just pop it into the hole, and it'll block the hole while you fill the bucket. So for this, I want to make sure you can see. We're going to put both of these, I'm using two because they're not that heavy. I'm going to put it with the knot for the string right through the center of both of these. Here. Sorry if you can't see. Okay. So, I have the string through the end. Now I'm going to pull the pin out of the hole, holding on to it. Don't lose your grip on it. And put the knot on the string back through the hole. And it's a little bit of a fussy thing. Okay. Now I have the knot on the other side. So it's safe to let go because these will keep it inside. So, here's the clevis pin, here is the knot. I open up where the knot is and put the clevis pin through the middle. And here, I'm going to try to do it so you can see exactly. Okay, see that hole in the middle? The knot and then the string on either side. Put the clevis pin through the middle. Okay. Oh no, I'm trying to get my fingers out of the way. All right. Pull. Put your hand inside. Adjust it around the washers. Okay. Can't go anywhere. And inside, let me see. See them? There it is. Can't come out. Can't get lost inside the bucket because the head of the pin is too big. So I'm going to put, just for storage purposes and stacking, I'm going to put the clevis pin back in the hole. Now it's out of the way and I can stack them in my stack. Because I've got many pens, I need one for every pen, so we're doing many of them. So how this works is very similar to an automatic dog water hole, maybe in a different area, but it works on the same principle. How you're going to operate it is when you go to fill it up, you're going to put the clevis pin in the hole. And the reason for this is that the hole is so big that if you didn't plug the hole while you were filling the bucket, it would overflow whatever pan you're using before you'd get the bucket full. So the clevis pin is just to block the hole off. It doesn't really, seems to be watertight in my using it so far. It seems to be watertight. It doesn't need to be. It just needs to mostly block the hole while you're filling the bucket up. Then you secure the lid on snug, or you have a lid with a spout, which is already secured down. You just close the spout, close it up. Then you pull the pin. Very quickly, the vacuum develops and the rush of water gets down to a trickle. It takes a while to fill up, but that initial rush is enough for any thirsty birds. And then it just, over the next half hour, it trickles in and fills up to the level of the hole. Done deal. as the chickens drink the water and the level drops, when it drops below the level of the hole, then it'll, a gulp of air will happen and it will release more water up to the level of the hole. And a 5-gallon bucket can water birds for a long time. Long. Possibly, if you've got a pen with, 4 or 5 birds, possibly could water the birds for the entire month. I don't know if you want to leave stale water that long, but yeah, long time. So anyway, let me show you out at the pens. This was the first run, the first test after they were done. First test ever. Went pretty good. And then I've got a word on some minor problems I'm going to have to fix after we look at how they're operating. Let's take a look. Okay, so it's full now. This is our first test out here in the field. The water in the bucket part, or in the pan part, that overflow from filling it up. As a matter of fact, I'm going to fill it up a little bit more. I don't like how it's sitting. There we go. I'd like it evened out a little bit. I think I'm going to put it off kilter a little bit, give a wider pool for drinking. There we go. I think I'm going to have the bucket off center, just for allowing a wider pool to drink out of. Anyway, I got to get the lid on, which is going to take both hands. Turkey's out, and I'll get back to you as soon as I get the lid on. So here we go, moment of truth. We're going to pull the plug. Gotta make sure the lid's tight. Okay, suction is happening. Okay, there's a little stream there. It doesn't glug, 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 but there is a little stream there, and that's fine. If I wanted a bigger stream, I could put two holes in the bucket, but that's like $30 more hardware. Why? So it's going down the string at this point. That's fine. So I'm just going to leave this, and we will come back later, maybe in an hour or whatever. This is plenty enough water for the moment for them to drink. And the water it is coming out. See that? It is coming. So it's going to take some time. I can deal with that. Okay, another one full. Trying to keep all the crap off of it. Uh-oh, you know what? I'm going to have problems. I didn't back that one out. Nope, water pressure's pushing it out. Waiting for the vacuum to take effect. Top sinking in. The vacuum is taking effect. And the pan is 4 inches high, and the hole is 2. So, I'm maneuvering it back on the brick, I think. There we go. Okay, well, you can see the little line there. It is dripping, just slow, which is fine. That works. This is a 5-minute checkup, and we're about halfway up. This is about, maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And we're almost done. It's to the point where it's almost done. And we have water. Now, my next problem will probably be them trying to sit on top. Probably. That happens, we'll have to figure something out. So, the water is working great for the ducks. On this water, I put the bucket dead center, and it's working perfectly. They have enough room to get in there to drink, as you see, but they don't have enough to get in there to screw around. So at least they're not going to climb in and foul the water by climbing in it. But ducks eat and then they drink water, so we're going to have slime on the bottom. We will have to periodically clean out the pan because there will be wet, nasty food at the bottom because of the ducks. But hey, it's better than them climbing into it, making a huge mess. And that one, you know, anything the ducks have access to, I may have to half fill and fill, you know, clean up more frequently. That's maybe what has to happen. But I'm like, oh, they're playing with the clevis pin. Is that going to be the new entertainment? You're going to pull on the clevis pin? Yeah, they're pulling on the clevis pin. In a pinch, if they chew that cord and dislodge the clevis pin, I've got hitch pins. I can put around the handle and put the clevis pin on that, on a hitch pin, because of the hole in the end. So there's multiple ways we can keep it pulled together. In a pinch, put it on a snap hook and hook it on the fence. That works too. You guys having fun? So, let's go over here. Excuse my pens, we just came out of like monsoon rains last week. So, let's see what we're doing. Yeah, it looks like this one is still filling. Maybe, or it's just the wind. Nope, it's just the wind. This one was the first one I did. It's all full. Yep. Plenty enough water. And all of these are offset towards the fence to make a bigger, fatter drinking area in the front. Because chickens don't play in their water. At least not a lot. Yep, here's a rooster pen. It's a-working. It's a-working. The lids are sucked down. See how that lid is sucked down? The suction's going. So I don't think we're going to overfill. It looks at the right level. Yep. So they're working. And you can tell if they've lost the suction on these with these lids because they suck down. If these lids become a problem, I will invest in the lids with the spout. Oh gosh, I forget what company I like the best. Yeah, it has a cap and everything on the spout. American Plastics, maybe. Oh, look at you guys have already made the water nasty. Look at that. Brats. Brats, but at least you're not climbing in it. Okay, this one just got started, so it's very low still. That other one came up with the ducks pulling on the clevis pin in the cord, I think was what did it. That one filled up fast. Yeah. Next step is to get the actual cinder block bricks that these are going to sit on. These will be on cinder block bricks eventually, but I'm at a money standstill at the moment. So we're gonna see how these lids work and whatnot. That'll take me up to where I can afford to get bricks and I'll go get the bricks. And we'll put all these up on cinder block, 2 cinder block bricks next to each other. That's what the platform for these are gonna be. Okay, moving on. Others need it. I'm going through and leveling, adjusting and leveling the bricks on the ground. And then I'm putting the waters in, so back to business. So I wanted to talk about the lids. I originally got the easy peels, what they call lids, from the same place I got the buckets. Upon initial trying, they didn't work. There was no seal created, and the seal is necessary for everything to work properly. So I just happened to have some seals for the Gamma buckets laying around. I'd gotten them for my dog food containers, which are Gamma seal. So I threw one on. I mean, I figure it's the same size. I threw one on just to see what would happen. The lid didn't clamp quite all the way down, but it did go on most of the way, and it sealed. As soon as I did that, everything worked properly. Had some minor glitches. You have to be extremely careful when you refill the bucket to get the lid, because it doesn't snap on fully all the way. You have to take very careful pains to get it on there even and snug and all that. So I sent away for a free sample of the lids with the seal with the spout. Letica. Letica is the brand of my buckets. Letica is also the maker of the lids. So same manufacturer. The lids that I got, hold on, and I'll get them. All right. These are the lids. So I tried them. They're as much or more fussy than the easy peel lids with the seal in them. They're just, yeah. I thought, well, maybe they'll save some work. The old style buckets with spouts used to have a lid that would screw on. That would have been awesome. But they're not making them like that anymore. There's like a silicone piece that pops out, and it just has this like plug in the top. And boy, you got to get the plug just right or it's not going to seal. And I want to be able to take the lids off the buckets because they're going to get crap in them. They're going to get mud and, the birds, they eat and then they drink, and then there's mucky food in the pan, and depending on what's going on, a bird jumps up on top of the water and increases pressure, which pushes out water, but then they jump off and it reduces pressure, so water gets sucked into the bucket, possibly with food. There's things that happen and they get dirty. So I want to be able to take the lid off to clean the buckets out. Every time they're refilled, I've put the order out between me and my son. Sorry, cat. Um, I've put the order out that every time they're empty and we have to refill them, I want them at least blasted out with the hose. You blasted clean, no goobers or crap in them, in the pan, in the bucket, on the lid. We want to keep things clean. And if I needed to sanitize them, say something bad happened and I got, I don't know, a sickness going around. I want to be able to sanitize the buckets and, all of that. So those lids, the snap-on spout lids, it took an act of Congress to get them on the bucket with a rubber mallet. And that was the first time. The second time, I thought I had them on secure. Not so. And it was a problem. It takes an act of Congress to get them off the bucket. Then while they're on the bucket, that little plug in the top, you got to get it just right or it won't. As far as fussiness goes, the easy peel lid, it comes off. You don't have to fuss too hard to get it off the bucket. You do have to take a little extra care when you fill the bucket to go around and then back around to make sure the lid's on nice and secure. It's not any more fussy. So at this point, unless somebody can come up with a source for the screw-on lids and the screw-on little cap has a seal, that might work famously. But until somebody can come up with a source for that, and if you've got one, put in the comments, please. I'd be interested. I'm saying go with the easy peel buckets. You get the easy peel lids. Sorry. I say get the easy peel lids, then get the seals, like for the Gamma buckets. The seals, you can get them, and probably cheaper than for the ones they say that are for Gamma buckets. It's Buna something nitrile rubber, black stuff. 9 3/4 inch. It's an O-ring. It's essentially an O-ring. It's about 1/8 of an inch wide, and it's a 9 3/4 circle. So 9 3/4, maybe 10. You could go 10 because the area is 11, but they stretch, and you want them to stretch a little bit so they'll stay put. So 9 3/4, 10-inch O-ring. Get enough of those for your lids. Put them in the lid. Like I said, my lids won't clamp down all the way, and the seal, the ring, is about 1/8 of an inch. So if you could get smaller, you might want to do that. Make that work. But anyway, that's what I'm thinking is the deal. Unless if you don't want to get into your buckets, don't feel like you need to get into your buckets and can pound the spout lids on and leave it that way, it might be a thing for you. It's not a thing for me. I want to be able to keep things really clean. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say about the lids. We gave both styles a try, and at this point, I'm thinking the easy peel is the way to go. Also, what I found out with the easy peel lids, watching these waters, they're working perfectly great. When the bucket gets close to being empty of water or down to the whole level of water, it, for whatever reason, it equalizes really fast. That sucked in lid thing, it pops up, you can tell. Also, at the bottom in the pan, it goes almost up to the edge, 2 inches. Well, 2 and something inches, a little bit. It goes nearly to the top of the pan. It just, for whatever reason, it equalizes all of a sudden. and it releases a bunch of water, only when it's close to being empty. It's like its last act before it cannot release any more water. Because, inside the bucket, there's still that water level right below the hole that's going to remain in there no matter what. Right before it reaches that point, it just mass releases the rest of the water, which is about 2 inches of water. So, account for that in whatever pan you're using. The 3-gallon pans are like 4¼ inches tall, and I put my holes at approximately 2 inches. So keep that in mind. You're going to gain, when it does that, you're going to gain about 2 inches and a little bit, 2¼ maybe, of water. So plan for that in your pans, whatever pan you're going to be using. Just plan for it. I just wanted to put that in there just in case. So anyway, that's the skinny on the buckets and how they're working. Otherwise, they're working perfectly. They're working famously, and that last expulsion of water, that lets us know it doesn't overflow. It hasn't, that I can tell. It lets us know that the bucket's empty of extra water. It's not going to be producing any more water. So watch the pan for the next day or two, and when it gets down far enough, refill the bucket. Clean everything, refill the bucket. So it's kind of a pre-warning, hey, you're about ready to refill sign. I can live with that. Anyway, have fun with it. I had a blast making my own waters. That was so much fun. So experiment with it. I may actually venture into making bucket feeders with the PVC pipes at some point. Not yet. I'm actually going to buy feeders. But I may play around and experiment with making bucket feeders at some point. We'll see how the ones I buy work. We'll see. I need something that is little waste to no waste at all. So anyway, have fun, you guys. Till later. Bye. So, an update on the lids for the waters. Come to find out, I wasn't using this properly. I was just pushing the little cap thing down. It actually screws. Show you. It's actually got threads on it. So, once I figured that out, I tested it with screwing this cap down. The fussiness went away. You could hear it pop in there. You pop it in, and then you turn it till it's snug. That seals. So, therefore, I'm going to use these spout lids for the waters. And the reason is as follows. The easy peel lids with the little seals on them. My son does the feeding and watering, and he's a young adult, but he has trouble sometimes getting those lids to seal properly. Admittedly, he's not as careful as he could be because he would rather be doing other things. But he feeds and waters. Also, on a couple of them, the little seal rings have popped out, and then he's like, what do I do? They're not that easy to get in. So, to avoid all of those problems, we're just going to use these. He can push the cap down till it clicks and then turn it. That's something he can do. It's pretty easy, pretty reliable. Now, I mentioned that it takes an act of Congress to get these on the buckets. That's still kind of the case, but they're brand new. The one that I had put on a bucket and taken off of a bucket like 2 times it was somewhat easier. So there is some hope that, uh, taken off and put on a couple of times, it'll get easier. But even so, even if it's a bit of a pain to get them off and put them on, um, sorry, itchy nose. You can blast out the bucket, for several weeks. You could blast it out just with a hose, with a sprayer or whatever. Once you need to get in there to fix it, to clean it, okay, so it's a little bit of a hassle. I use a pry wrench, a bucket opener wrench. So it's a little bit fussy. I can live with that. If the rest of the time it works properly and it's not fussy to fill and to deal with otherwise, if it's a little bit of a hassle to get the thing off, to do a thorough cleaning of the bucket, I can live with that. I can really live with that. Now, I'm using one of these in the house for my dogs, and it is just working famously. It's working like a frickin' charm. I'm really liking it. So, anyway, I wanted to revise my video, my instructions, to tell you what I'd found about these. I got a batch for the whole slew of waters. They should arrive tomorrow. These were samples. They sent me samples to see if it would work for me. And they didn't, but that was, like I said, come to find out I wasn't doing the cap properly. As soon as I did the cap properly, the only fussing involved was getting it on. Use a rubber mallet. I've seen people on eBay or on YouTube use their feet. I guess you could. If I tried that, I'd probably fall and break something. Rubber mallet to get on. Wrench. In fact, let me show you my wrench. Wrench to pull the lids off. I got another one coming. Have one and then have a spare. Just in case one goes missing, gets misplaced, we've got a spare. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do with the waters. It's great. Here's a shot of the water being used in the house for the dogs. It's awesome. It's awesome.